Welcome back to Martial Mind Bodybuilding, where we cut through the nonsense and get straight to the real science behind muscle, strength, and aesthetics. Today, we're diving into one of the most brutal and misunderstood aspects of bodybuilding: contest prep, natural versus enhanced. Listen, if you've ever prepped for a show, you know it's hell on earth. But there's a huge difference between doing it as a natural versus someone using an entire pharmacy of enhancements. And with Sam Sulek now prepping for his first bodybuilding show, it's the perfect time to break it all down. What's different, what's the same, and why does contest prep hit natties so much harder? Buckle up, this one's gonna get real. No matter if you're natty or enhanced, the goal of prep is the same: lose as much fat as possible, retain as much muscle as possible, peak at the perfect time. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. Because depending on whether you're natural or enhanced, your entire approach changes.
Quarter turn to the right.
Fat loss is non negotiable in prep. You're trying to get to 5 to 7% body fat, which is starvation mode for your body. For natural bodybuilders, here's the problem: your testosterone plummets the leaner you get. Your metabolism slows down to fight against further fat loss. You feel tired, weak, and constantly hungry. Compare that to enhanced bodybuilders. They run compounds that keep testosterone high. So their mood, libido, and strength stay intact. Many use fat burners like clenbuterol and T3 to keep metabolism high. GH, that's growth hormone, it helps to retain your size while still getting shredded. So when a natty guy is struggling to get out of bed and an enhanced guy is still lifting and burning fat at the same time. So now let's look at muscle retention, the natty versus enhanced struggle. One of the biggest challenges in prep is holding onto muscle while eating in a caloric deficit, right? For a natural bodybuilder, the leaner they get, the more their body burns muscle for fuel. Cortisol increases, which breaks down muscle tissue. Training has to be adjusted because recovery gets worse. For enhanced lifters, steroids like Tren, Test, and Anavar help preserve muscle even in a calorie deficit, right? So recovery stays the same. Some even grow muscle while cutting, which is insane, by the way. This is why Sam Sulek, despite being on prep, still looks massive. His body isn't eating away at his muscle the same way a natural's would. Let's look at diet and carb, right? Manipulation. A whole different game. Natural bodybuilders have to be insanely precise with diet because their body has no chemical assistance. Carbs have to be timed perfectly to avoid muscle loss. Refeeds are critical to keep metabolism from crashing. Protein intake has to be high to prevent further breakdown. Meanwhile, an enhanced bodybuilder has more flexibility. They can cut carbs more aggressively without losing as much muscle. PEDs help retain nitrogen balance, so protein breakdown is minimal. They can get away with more cheat meals because drugs keep them anabolic. That's why you see guys on gear eating burgers and fries post workout during prep, while the natty guys over here measuring rice to the gram and still looking flat. So let's look at the final weeks: water, sodium, and peaking differences. Peak week is where the magic happens, or where it all falls apart. For naturals, the approach is simple but high risk. They have to manipulate water and sodium carefully. Carb loading has to be perfect to avoid spilling over. One mistake, you show up looking soft and flat. For enhanced bodybuilders, it's a different world. Diuretics help them dry out faster and more aggressively. Insulin protocols can fine-tune carb loading. Growth hormone plus Anavar equals insane vascularity and dryness. And natural can do everything right and still struggle with fullness on show day. An enhanced bodybuilder, they have a lot more tools to fix mistakes. So, the reality of contest prep, natty versus enhanced, here's the truth. Natty prep is brutal. You suffer more, you look smaller, and you have zero margin of error. Enhanced prep is still hard, but way more forgiving. PEDs help maintain muscle strength and sanity. Does this mean natties can't compete? Of course not. But the expectations are different. A natty guy needs years of muscle maturity to stand out on stage. He has to be 10 times smarter with diet, training, and peaking. He has to accept that enhanced guys will have a major advantage. And let's be real, Sam Sulek prepping is a whole different animal than if he were doing it naturally. The size, the leanness, the ability to maintain intensity, it's all thanks to chemical enhancement. So, final thoughts. Who's got it harder? If you're a natural lifter prepping for a show, just know you're fighting an uphill battle. You need years of experience to get it right. Your physique will never pop the way an enhanced bodybuilder does. But if you're natural and you still manage to step on stage in elite shape, that's a different level of respect because you did it with nothing but discipline, strategy, and raw work ethic, the Mike O'Hearn way. That's why Silver Era bodybuilders were so impressive. They had no fancy drugs, no GH, no insulin, just hard work. So whether you're natty or enhanced, the lesson is the same. Train hard, eat smart, stay disciplined. Because, in the end, the only thing that matters is whether you did everything possible to bring your best physique to the stage. That's it for today's episode of Martial Mind Bodybuilding. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe, drop a review, and check out martialmindbodybuilding.com for real old school training programs. Until next time, train hard, eat big, and if you're natty, may the odds be ever in your favor.